The first 100,000K is the hardest to save. The cost of living keeps rising. Money just doesn't stretch as far as it used to. How do you actually build wealth in such an environment that's working against you? And the answer is discipline. I came up with 8 unsexy habits that allow me to automate my self-control and build real wealth without ruining my lifestyle. So let's get straight into it.
Habit 1. Pay yourself first. Most people try to save whatever is left over the bank account at the end of the month. But there is a problem. For overspenders, if money is sitting in your main bank account, your brain will always try to find a perfect psychological excuse to spend the money. And for natural spenders, there's never anything left. But then for savers, it's the completely opposite. They always try to save whatever the best they can and forget how to enjoy life. I fell hard into this category. It's created this constant, exhausting scarcity mindset. Even though I have money in my bank, I used to feel a massive side of subconscious guilt every time I spend. But the fix for both extremes is exactly the same. You just have to remove the human decision making from the equation completely. A few years ago, I sat down and calculated my real number, what I needed, what I wanted, and what I could comfortably save. Also, I really get to know what my saving goals are. So once I knew that number, I just automate that to leave my bank account the moment I got paid. And this completely flipped the psychological script. If you are a spender, your savings are safely hidden from your own impulses. And if you are an oversaver like me, whatever is left in your account, you can spend completely guilt-free because you already hit your goal. But if you don't know your number yet, don't guess it because it has to be reasonable and feasible. You can give yourself 3 to 4 months to track your expense and then find your baseline. Then you can design your system and start paying yourself first. Habit number 2, automate everything else too. Missing a credit card payment is brutal. The stress, your credit score, it is an expensive mistake and it's totally avoidable. And in product design, we talk a lot about cognitive load, the amount of mental effort it takes to complete a task. Every single bill you have to remember to pay is just a piece of mental clutter waiting to be dropped when you are too tired, when you're traveling, or just having a bad week. This is totally my living mistake. I personally really hate admins and I try to procrastinate as much as I can. I once missed my Amex payment while I was traveling and the interest charge was shocking. Human psychology is wired to take the path of least resistance. So instead of relying on your willpower, you need to change your default setting. Set every single bill, subscription, and card payments to go automatically right after payday. And if you can, just consolidate everything. It is just too messy if you have to have your direct debit scattered through different banks, and the tracking was exhausting. And moving everything into one single bank also gives you full visibility. So my current flow is really straightforward. I only need to set it up once. After payday, my savings automatically go to my Vanguard ISA. And then my mortgage, my subscription, my bills, and my credit card payment, they're all on the same day. And it just takes out a lot of stress from me manually doing everything. Habit 3, monthly money date. Most people avoid looking at their bank account simply because it feels tedious and unnecessary, or maybe even stressful. In behavioral psychology, we have a term called the ostrich effect, our natural cognitive bias to bury our head in the sand and avoid looking at financial data because we are afraid of the negative feeling that might trigger. But when you ignore your numbers, you lose total control. You end up paying for things that you no longer use or missing massive opportunities. But the fix is incredibly simple. You just need to design an environment to make these money dates a lot more enjoyable. Once a month, around payday, I usually sit down with my coffee and I just open everything. I wouldn't advise you to do it in a coffee shop because there are a lot of sensitive information about. But then I will just go through every account, all the investment, and all my expenses. Then I just look for any immediate quick wins. That means putting some subscriptions I no longer use or still haven't got my refund back. And then I can see if I have enough money to make a small mortgage overpayment. Notice that I set only once a month from a behavioral design perspective. Constant exposure to the financial data is a nightmare. I don't keep financial news notification on my phone, and I never check the market daily because there's just some background noise without changing your actual long-term strategy. Sometimes it could be worse. In my last video, I talk about when people invest and they're constantly exposed to the news, they might buy high and sell low. So you just need to know the overall trend of the market and see if there's any opportunity for you to buy the dip. And for me, I generally excited to this routine now, and it became my monthly ritual for the past 4 years. Habit number 4, harvesting existing parks. Most of us leave behind hundreds of pounds on the table every year, completely because we just ignore the stuff sitting right in front of us. You don't need to sign up for a new credit card or anything fancy. Just look at what you currently got and build a tiny habit. Right before you buy something, just pause and quickly check your banking app and your credit card reward, or just your workplace portal. Pretty much every new bank has a cashback or a reward section that not a lot of people ever clicks on. And if your company have an employee benefits portal, simply just log in and see what you've been missing out. So my fridge broke down, I just checked my employee portal and I realized I can get 10% off, and it nearly saved me like 70 pounds. And they also have some supermarket park. In Chinese, we also say 积少成多, which means small amounts add up over time. And I also do the same thing with my grocery shopping. I think the trick is to stick with the same shop and scan the free loyalty app and let the algorithm send me discounts on the exact same things I buy anyways. It sounds incredibly mundane, but the moment you start doing it, it feels like you're gamifying the system. You can see this as a personal challenge to see how much money you can actually save over time. It might be shocking to you. Habit 5, app to web transition. Have you ever spent way more time on an app than you ever meant to? And somehow I ended up buying a loads of random things that you never been thought about buying before you ever open your phone. And that is not a coincidence. And I know this better than most because as a product designer, my literal job is to build an experience to grab your attention and keep you inside for as long as possible. Even though I don't work for a social media company, but I know exactly how it works. And the moments when you're bored, maybe you just got 30 seconds to fill, or maybe you're on your way back home, that's exactly you are most vulnerable. You're just randomly scrolling, you're not shopping, and something caught your eyes, and then you just end up buying it. And somehow 15 minutes later, you bought something you never knew you ever needed. And that's the design working exactly as intended. When you look at Temu, they make you feel like you can shop like a millionaire. And they always have this like crazy offer, like something you can find in a casino that they can give you a lot of cashback and show you a lot of random items. And this is the trick they are using. So I deleted the app, like the retailer app and my social media app. I didn't delete the account, so it's just the app. I just want to avoid being targeted for something really cute. And this also helped me reduce doom scrolling. If I wanted to buy something, I have to open the browser and navigate to a mobile website that is extremely clunky, and the user experience is so much worse than the app, which is exactly what I want. And I think this trick is particularly useful for those with the shopping impulses. Habit 6, the visible wardrobe. Having an intentional, hyper-visible wardrobe gives you an instant, crystal clear picture of what you actually own. Instead of buying a piece of clothing just because it is on sale or trendy, you only buy it because you can already map out exactly how it integrates into what you have. A capsule wardrobe doesn't mean a boring wardrobe. You can still have a loud, vibrant, personal style. And the first step here is visual organization. I keep my closets completely tiny and color-coded. It sounds a bit extreme, but it avoids you forget what you already own. When your clothes are organized this way, you instantly eliminate duplicate buy. You won't accidentally buy another black blazer or basic white tee because the three you already own are hanging right in front of your face. But flipping the script, it's not about buying expensive designer clothes logo either. Companies use slick packaging and a lot of fancy spokespersons or prestige branding to trick you into thinking the product is high quality when it's just basic. So the real secret here is learning how to read the fabric label. You want to audit the materials for durable natural fiber like wools, cotton, cashmere, linen, rather than the synthetic polyester blends that are engineered to degrade after a few washes, and your skin will feel a difference as well. You need to know exactly the structural quality you are paying for, regardless of the price tag. Before you buy anything new, shop your own closet first. Most of the time, the exact missing piece is actually sitting in your closet. Habit number 7, a fixed weekday menu. By the end of a long workday, your brain is completely fried and we're at that exhausted. When you're that exhausted, you naturally open a delivery app. Most takeaway isn't a planned treat, it's just a default response to fatigue. So I keep my weekdays meal incredibly simple. I buy a set list of rotating proteins like salmon, chicken, beef, tofu, and cook the exact same basic from Monday to Friday. I used to think eating like this was kind of sad and miserable because I want variety and I wanted to romanticize my life with a different, exciting dinner every single night. But I didn't find it very sustainable. And the truth is, having too much choice actually made me miserable. And it's called choice overload. I've been experimenting a highly nutritious and repetitive meal prep for the past few months. It's actually really freeing. I no longer need to think what I'm cooking for the night. It's also significantly healthier. It cuts out food waste and also eliminates the 8 p.m. panic ordering, or maybe like just by default having instant noodles. Occasionally I still like eating out with my friends, but this is usually my social expense. I just don't like to spend on takeaway because I was just too tired to cook. So habit number 8, the comfortable no. London has a specific kind of financial pressure that nobody's really talk about. The massive group dinner is expensive restaurant, the bottomless brunches, and there is this unspoken social rule, not talk about money and just go with that. Because of the FOMO or this social proof that we really want to get, we end up just go without really enjoying the event. And FOMO is incredibly expensive. Half of the time, you aren't even that excited about the plan. You're just terrified of missing out or looking difficult to your friends. So what we're doing here is simple. Just learn to say no. You have to get radically honest about which social plan you actually want to do versus the ones you're attending out of obligation or you just don't want to look bad in front of your friends. I'm obviously not telling you to lock yourself indoors and don't go socializing ever again because you want to save money. I'm just saying to stop spending your hard-earned money on things that doesn't excite you or even drain your energy because you want to fit in and be cool. And also, if you're living in big city, there are plenty of free things that you can do with your friends, just like walking into a park, visiting a museum, or just grab a coffee, or anything you can think about that doesn't require money. When I first arrived in London, I just said yes everything because I didn't have any friends. I needed to expand my social circle. I was doing it for a purpose, and I actually spent so much because of that. But now I just stopped going to things. I don't care. None of the system we just talk about require a high salary or a degree in finance or some extreme willpower. They just require you to set up the architecture once and let it run. Morgan Housel, the author of The Psychology of Money, said, "Wealth is what you don't spend, but true financial peace isn't found in constant deprivation. It is found in the quiet system you build and the decisions you automate and the habits that are so unsexy. Nobody's ever going to make an Instagram reel to talk about it. If you're not a personal finance content creator, you don't need to rewrite your entire system tomorrow. Just pick one habit from this video, set it up this week, and let the system do the heavy lifting for you." If you're ready to start, let me know in the comment section which habits you are actively building. I'll read through every single one. And if you are interested in how my monthly expense look like, you can watch this video next. And don't forget to subscribe me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!